Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking a plunge, a really deep one, into this little book with huge impact, Austin Kleon's Steal Like an Artist.
Yeah, it's everywhere, isn't it?
Exactly. You've probably heard of it, maybe flicked through it. But our mission today, well, it's to go beyond just the surface level. We're not just summarizing. We want to really reevaluate it, try to pull out those core, timeless ideas that help cut through our biggest creative hurdles.
You mean like the self-doubt?
Yeah, the self-doubt, the perfectionism trap, and that constant nagging worry that nothing we do is truly original.
Right.
Okay, so let's unpack this, because Kleon's central idea, and it's genuinely liberating, is that you don't actually need to be some kind of lone genius to create something meaningful.
No, not at all.
You just need curiosity, authenticity, and, well, you need to be willing to grab ideas and transform them.
And that message, it just hit home instantly back in 2012 when it came out, became a bestseller really fast.
Yeah.
Not because it's some dense academic thing, but because it's so clear. And the design is great too, really playful, makes it approachable.
Totally.
What's really fascinating, I think, is how it gives you this simple framework, 10 principles.
Right. Especially
Especially if you've ever felt just, completely overwhelmed by all the stuff out there, or that pressure to be utterly unique.
Which is constant.
It is. So Kleon's principles, they're like a practical toolkit. And not just for artists in the traditional sense. It's for anyone wanting more creativity in their life, their work.
Absolutely.
So this deep dive, we're aiming to get beyond just listing the principles you might already know. We want to explore how Kleon's simple advice actually offers a pretty profound rethink of creativity, especially now in our super connected world.
Exactly. And that rethink starts right away, doesn't it?
Yeah.
With that first principle.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's jump in. Let's take this journey through Kleon's 10 big ideas. Each one gives you a unique insight, a practical shift you can apply. First up, the big one, the title itself, Steal Like an Artist. And this sounds, well, it sounds a bit controversial, maybe.
It can, yeah.
For a lot of people, that phrase might feel a bit, I don't know, uncomfortable, like it's giving permission to just rip people off. Where's Kleon actually drawing the line here? Why is this idea meant to be liberating, not permission for plagiarism?
That's such a crucial distinction, and yeah, it's a common hurdle people hit with the title. He's absolutely not saying go plagiarize, not at all.
Okay.
What he's doing is highlighting that real originality. Well, it doesn't just pop out of nowhere. It's more like creative alchemy.
Alchemy, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing is truly 100% original. Every idea is built on something that came before it. This isn't even a new idea, right? It echoes centuries of art, science. Progress happens when we stand on the shoulders of giants, synthesizing what's already there.
So give us some examples.
Well, think about Shakespeare borrowing plots left and right, or Picasso meticulously studying other masters before finding his own style, or Steve Jobs even, with that famous quote.
Oh, the good artist copy, great artist steal one.
That's the one. The stealing Kleon talked about isn't lifting something word for word or pixel for pixel. It's about taking an idea, really understanding its core, its essence, and then transforming it, putting it through your own filter, your unique perspective.
Right, so it's about the transformation.
Exactly. So for you listening, this means actively building what Kleon calls your swipe file.
Your collection of inspirations.
Precisely. Quotes, images, notes, code snippets, whatever inspires you. Collect it all. But then don't just leave it there. Reimagine those borrowed bits. Twist them, combine them, and make them completely yours. It's about being a good collector first, and then a great remixer.
Okay, that makes way more sense. Remix culture, not just replication. Got it. And that whole idea of doing something to find your way, that flows really nicely into Kleon's second point, which I think so many of us grapple with. Don't wait until you know who you are to get started.
Oh, this is a big one.
It really is. It tackles that paralysis, that self-doubt we mentioned right at the start. It's so easy to get trapped waiting for perfect clarity, waiting for our voice to just magically appear, or having every single step planned out before we dare to begin.
Precisely. And Kleon is really firm on this. Your creative identity, your unique style or voice, that's not something you find fully formed like it's waiting under a rock.
Ah, right.
It emerges. It develops through the actual act of making things, often over years of practice, trial and error, just messing around and experimenting.
Like finding your way in the dark a bit?
Kind of, yeah. Think about Vincent van Gogh. We see the famous sunflowers, the starry nights. But before that, he made literally thousands of sketches and studies. Thousands.
Wow, I didn't know so many.
He found his incredible brushstrokes, his use of color, not by waiting for some divine inspiration, but by doing the work. by showing up day after day, even when it wasn't perfect.
So the challenge for us, for you listening.
Yeah, the challenge is start that project now, even if it feels awkward or incomplete. Treat your creativity like an experiment, an exploration, rather than this high-stakes quest for some flawless final thing right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Kind of have to build the plane while you're flying it.
Build a plane while flying it. I love that. That's so freeing, isn't it? Just permission to start. Okay, so you've started, you're experimenting, but what should you actually make? Cleon's got a fascinating answer for that, too. Write the book you want to read.
Yes.
This feels like it gets to the heart of making something authentic. But how is it different from just, indulging a personal whim that nobody else cares about? What's the real power here?
The power is in the resonance. It's surprisingly potent. We often get caught up trying to guess what's trendy or what we think the market wants or what will impress people.
Yeah, chasing likes or whatever.
Exactly. But Kleon argues, and I think he's right, that the work that truly lasts, the stuff that connects deeply, it usually comes from a genuine personal passion, from making the thing you desperately wish already existed.
Okay.
Think about J.K. Rowling. She wrote the Harry Potter books because that was exactly the kind of immersive, magical story she wanted to read as a reader.
Right, she wasn't trying to game the bestseller list initially.
Not at all. Her sheer enthusiasm for that world, for filling that gap she perceived, that's what ultimately resonated with millions. So the practical takeaway here is really powerful. Trust your own pace. Seriously, if you're genuinely excited and passionate about something, chances are pretty good that other people out there will be too. It's like an internal compass guiding you towards work that has a real, unique, and deeply felt core.
Trust your gut. Follow that inner compass. Okay. And how do we tap into that passion, like really connect with it beyond just thinking about it?
Yeah.
Kleon has this wonderfully physical answer in Principle 4. Use your hands.
Ah, yes. The analog principle.
Yeah. I know personally most of my day is spent staring at a screen, typing. Why is it so important, according to Kleon, to get tactile again, to actually use our hands with our ideas?
Well, in this world we live in, so dominated by screens and digital tools, it's incredibly easy to forget that creativity isn't just happening between our ears. It's a physical act, too.
How so?
Reconnecting with those analog processes, doodling, sketching, cutting things out, physically pasting them together, making collages, playing with clay, whatever it is, it actually sparks different neural pathways. It engages your brain differently than just typing or clicking.
Interesting.
It can lead to deeper insights, more unexpected connections. Lots of very successful creators swear by this. Neil Gaiman, for example, often talks about writing his first drafts longhand.
By hand, really?
Yeah. He says it slows the brain down just enough compared to typing, allowing richer, more complex ideas to bubble up. It prevents you from editing too quickly.
That makes sense.
So for your own creative work, find that balance. Digital tools are amazing, obviously indispensable for many things, but keep physical tools around too. Sketchbooks, sticky notes, a big whiteboard, index cards. Give your hands a chance to participate, to catch up with your brain, as you said.
Let your hands catch up. I really like that. It feels almost meditative. And maybe it's in those less productive, more hands-on moments that we find the space for Principle 5. Side projects and hobbies are important.
Absolutely.
I know I definitely feel this pressure sometimes. Like
Yeah.
if I have a hobby, I should somehow turn it into a side hustle or make it useful. Kleon seems to push back hard against that, saying the freedom from that pressure is the whole point. Is that right?
That's exactly right. This principle is a direct challenge to that, frankly, exhausting pressure in our culture to monetize every single thing we enjoy doing.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Kleon argues that hobbies and side projects, precisely because they don't have the burden of expectation or the need to make money or impress anyone, that's often where the real magic happens, the breakthroughs. Think about Steve Wozniak, co-founder of Apple, right? His early tinkering with electronics, building little gadgets, that started purely as a hobby, a passion project just for him. And that playful experimentation, done just for the love of it, without any commercial pressure, that led directly to the Apple I computer.
Wow.
So the advice is, nurture those hobbies, protect them. Don't worry about their output or whether they look productive on paper. They are your creative oxygen. They keep your imagination alive and allow the surprising connections to form when you're not even trying.
Protect your play. That's a really powerful reminder. But okay, if play fuels the fire, how do we then connect that creativity back out into the world? Which brings us neatly to Principle 6. Do good work and share it with people.
that sharing principle.
So it's not enough to just make stuff in secret. Kleon says consistency and, crucially, visibility are key for growth.
Indeed. Creative work doesn't really fully exist or evolve if it stays locked away in a drawer or hidden on your hard drive. Sharing is vital, and Kleon himself is the perfect case study here.
How so?
Well, his whole career basically launched because he started sharing his newspaper blackout poems online, just putting them out there on his blog freely.
Oh, right, those poems made from newspapers.
Exactly. They went viral, got tons of attention, and that opened all the doors for him. The key thing wasn't that they were perfect final masterpieces when he started sharing. It was the act of sharing the process, the experiment. So for you listening, this means thinking about platforms like blogs or Instagram or YouTube or whatever fits your work, not just as places to show off polished final products. Think of them as ways to share your process.
The messy bits, too.
Yeah, let people see the journey, the sketches, the drafts, the evolution. It actually lets your audience connect more deeply, feel like they're growing with you. It builds a real community around what you do, not just passive consumers.
Sharing the journey, not just the arrival point. That's a really significant shift. And speaking of connecting with the internet, Kleon points out in Principle 7, geography is no longer our master.
A huge one for our times.
It really is. It feels truly liberating. It wasn't that long ago, really, that if you wanted to be, say, a serious painter or writer, you almost had to pack up and move to a big cultural hub. Paris, New York, London.
Absolutely. You had to be physically there.
But Kleon says that's changed. What are the sort of deeper implications of this geographic freedom for creativity today?
Well, the biggest implication is that your scene, your community, isn't tied to your zip code anymore. It's your global network. And this just completely democratizes access to inspiration, collaboration, and opportunity in ways that were unimaginable before.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing when you think about it.
It really is. Think about it. A software developer in, say, India can collaborate seamlessly with a graphic designer in Brazil.
Right.
And together they can build and launch something that reaches users all over the planet instantly. So for your own creative path, this means you should actively seek out those connections. Join online forums, find creative groups on social media, participate in virtual workshops.
Be proactive online.
Exactly. Cultivate that global network. Draw influence and inspiration from everywhere. It enriches your perspective massively and expands your potential reach exponentially. Your studio, your creative hub, truly can be anywhere with an internet connection.
Your studio is anywhere. Love that. But okay, while geography might be less of a master, what about our internal landscape, our habits? That brings us to a potentially surprising one. Principle 8. Be boring. It's the only way to get work done.
Yes, this one definitely gets reactions.
It does, because it flies in the face of that romantic stereotype, doesn't it? The wild, chaotic, maybe slightly tortured artist burning the candle at both ends. Doesn't creativity need a bit of that chaos and spontaneity?
That's the myth, and honestly, it's a myth that probably holds a lot of people back. Kleon argues very convincingly that sustained, meaningful creative work, it actually thrives on the opposite. Discipline, routine, focus, boring stuff.
Really? How does boring help?
Because stability creates the mental space you need for deep work. If your life is constant chaos, your energy is spent just managing the chaos, not on creation. Look at someone like Haruki Murakami, the novelist.
Oh yeah, amazing writer.
Incredible and famously disciplined. He has the strict daily routine. Wake up early, write for several hours, go for a long run, read in the afternoon, sleep early, day in, day out.
Wow, like clockwork.
Pretty much. And that unwavering discipline isn't stifling his genius, it's enabling it. It creates the container for it. So for you, this means developing your own rituals, a predictable framework.
So embrace the boring.
Embrace the boring. Things like getting enough sleep, maybe keeping your workspace tidy, even managing your finances reasonably well. These aren't enemies of creativity. They create the quiet, stable foundation that allows your creative brilliance to actually show up consistently. It prevents burnout, too. It's about the long game.
Okay, stability fuels creativity. It doesn't kill it. That actually makes a lot of sense when you put it like that. Right, on to Principle 9. Creativity is subtraction.
Less is more.
Exactly. We often think, more options, more tools, more features, that equals more creativity. But Kleon flips that. He says less is often better. So what does this actually mean in practice, especially when we feel overwhelmed by choices?
This is such a powerful idea, especially today with infinite options for everything. It's basically an antidote to that overwhelm. Kleon's insight is that limitations, constraints, They aren't the enemy. They can actually be your best friends creatively.
How can limits be friendly?
Because when you narrow your focus, when you limit your tools or choices, it forces you to be more inventive, more resourceful. You have to find clever solutions within those boundaries, solutions you might never have thought of if you had unlimited options.
Okay, give me an example.
The classic fantastic example is Dr. Seuss writing Green Eggs and Ham.
Oh, right.
Legend has it, his editor bet him he couldn't write a compelling book using only 50 unique words. 50.
That's incredibly restrictive.
Totally. But that constraint didn't shut him down. It became the catalyst. It forced incredible linguistic creativity, and the result is one of his most famous, most beloved books ever.
Amazing.
So for you, try setting deliberate limits sometimes. Use fewer colors. Work with only basic tools. Give yourself a really tight deadline or a tiny budget. Embrace simplicity. It can genuinely sharpen your focus and drive your creativity in unexpected ways. Constraints breed ingenuity.
Constraints breed ingenuity.
Mm.
Okay, I'm writing that down. Brilliant. And that brings us to the final principle, number 10. Stay curious, keep learning.
The foundation for everything else, really.
This seems almost obvious, right? Of course we should stay curious, but what's Kleon's specific angle on this? How does he mean stay curious in a way that actively fuels creativity beyond just passively consuming stuff?
He emphasizes consuming widely and actively, not just staying in your own little niche or discipline, because creativity at its heart is about making connections, connecting dots that maybe others haven't connected before.
Right.
And the more diverse your inputs, the wider you read, the more varied the things you look at, the more different kinds of people you talk to, the more potential dots you have to connect. And the more unique your resulting connections, your outputs will be.
Like collecting ingredients for a recipe you haven't invented yet.
Exactly like that. Think of the ultimate example. Leonardo da Vinci.
The Renaissance man himself.
Right. His notebooks are legendary, filled with sketches and observations on everything: anatomy, botany, engineering, flight, water currents, art. His artistic genius wasn't separate from his scientific curiosity. It was profoundly enriched by it. They fed each other.
So it's about cross-pollination.
Absolutely. So the practical application here is really a mindset. Read broadly. Collect ideas constantly, from everywhere. Not just stuff directly related to your current project, but things that just pique your interest. Stay playful in your exploration. Never stop asking why or what if. The creative life isn't about reaching some endpoint of knowledge. It's a life of continuous joyful learning. See everything as potential fuel.
Wow. What an incredible set of principles when you lay them out like that. And, it's worth just mentioning again, the book itself, Steal Like an Artist. It's not just the text. That visual style, the doodles, the handwriting, it really embodies the message, doesn't it? It makes these big ideas feel so much more approachable, less intimidating.
Absolutely. The form matches the function perfectly. And I think the real genius of the book, the paradox, is right there. It looks simple, it feels simple, but the wisdom in it is actually incredibly deep.
Yeah.
By giving you permission to embrace influence, to steal, Kleon just lifts this enormous weight off your shoulders, the burden of having to be totally original out of thin air.
Which is impossible anyway.
Pretty much. And that act of lifting the burden, that frees you up to actually do the work. To create, it cleverly bridges that gap between the playful side, the doodles, the hobbies, the curiosity, and the discipline side, the routines, the sharing, the subtraction.
Good balance, yeah.
That balance is key. It's what makes it feel so relevant, maybe even more relevant now than in 2012, in this crazy, noisy world where everyone's shouting for attention. It gently pushes you to focus on contributing something meaningful rather than just trying to be unique for uniqueness' sake.
And its impact has definitely grown in this digital age where, like you said, attention is the currency. Steal Like an Artist feels more vital than ever. It really does encourage focusing on what you can add, what you can transform, rather than getting paralyzed by the need for pure originality. And the lessons, they're just so universal, aren't they? It doesn't matter if you're a writer, coder, entrepreneur, teacher, anyone trying to make something, anything, without getting stuck.
Exactly. It's for creators in the broadest sense of the word.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. The core message from this deep dive, pulling it all together, you really don't have to be struck by lightning. You don't have to be purely original. You just have to be authentic. Creativity, as Kleon shows us, is fundamentally about borrowing, remixing, transforming what's already out there, but doing it through your unique filter, your perspective.
It's a combination, a synthesis.
Yeah. So this book, these ideas, they're like a pep talk and a really practical toolkit rolled into one. something you can carry with you to unlock your own creativity without that constant fear of not being good enough or original enough.
And maybe a final thought to leave people with. As you start to embrace these principles, as you consciously engage with and transform these stolen ideas, consider this. It might not just change your creative work, it could fundamentally shift how you see the whole world around you.
How so?
Well, it can transform you from just a passive consumer of culture and ideas into an active, thoughtful creator. You start seeing potential connections everywhere, possibilities in the everyday. It shifts your whole stance from just observing to actively participating and reshaping.
Wow, seeing the world as remixable material. That's a really provocative thought to end on. Thank you.
My pleasure.
And thank you for joining us for this deep dive. If you found this valuable, if it sparked some ideas, please do consider liking this, sharing it with someone else who might benefit, and subscribing to the channel. It really helps us keep exploring fascinating topics like this one. We'll see you next time.